Howdy folks, another beautiful cold rainy morning. No, I'm only kidding, it's the same one as in the previous video. I just thought I had something else to tell you about, so I'll just do two videos in one go. As you can see, I still have the same clothes on even. In this video I want to talk about getting around Vancouver, and that's something that you've got to consider if you're ever moving to Vancouver, and even if you live here. So there's a couple of ways to get around. You do not really need a car. But in any case, let me go through them and you can decide what works best for you. So the first thing is obviously you can purchase yourself a car and you can drive around. Now it really depends where you're going to be living. If you're out here where we are in West Vancouver, the buses are not that often, and you are quite far away from any shops. Well, not quite far, 3-4 k's, so unless you're really fit, you're going to drive to the shops and you're going to drive to places. So, if you're out here, it's probably better to have a car, purely because, hey, you're going to wait for your Ubers and things like that. If we order an Uber, it has to come from the city, and it oftentimes takes like 15-20 minutes for the Uber to come here. So that's the first thing, a car. A car is fairly expensive to run. And then the other part of the car is that it is an absolute pain in the ass when you need to go over the bridge, or you need to go into town and you need to go and find parking. Having your own car is going to cost you money, okay? And you're going to get stuck in traffic. You're going to sit. There are serious traffic. The traffic up on the highway here and down in Marine Drive, it can get quite gridlocked. And if you want to go park, if you go to the city or anywhere, you're going to go find parking, you're going to pay for parking. So, and of course, insurance on cars are quite expensive. Although lately they've sent us a couple of refunds. The IRBC or IRCC, they have changed their systems now. So insurance has really come down in price, which is great. But there are also other ways to get around Vancouver. And obviously the first one is the bus. The Vancouver transit system is great. There's buses everywhere. I said here up by us, the bus is not that regularly, and it stops at 9 o'clock in the evening, the 253. But every half an hour or so, a bus comes through here. And we can literally walk 200 meters to the bus stop and get on the bus and get anywhere in the city. So the bus transit system is great. You really can get anywhere you want with that. And oftentimes, obviously the bus stops everywhere and things like that, so it is a little bit slower. But I'll tell you what, oftentimes it's actually faster going to the city with a bus than it is to drive with your car, because the bus does not have to sit in the traffic. It goes around, it's got its own special lane, so it can cut in front of all the traffic at the bridge and things like that. So I actually enjoy taking the bus, and it's not very expensive. I think it works out to $2.40. You can buy a bus card, the Compass card. Let me see if I've got mine here. Here we go. The Compass bus card. So you buy this once off, it's $20, and then you just put money on it, and every time you get on the bus you just tap it and you ride. Now if you tap on the bus and you ride, or you pay, as long as you stay on that same bus, you only pay once for the day. So if I take the 253 to town, I tap it right here, I pay $2.40 for the trip. It's going to take me all the way to town. When I'm done in town, I can get back on the bus and come all the way back here. It doesn't charge me again. I can take that same bus again in that day. Doesn't charge me. I can ride that bus for as long as I want on that day, once I've paid once. If I go to another bus, so I take the 253 and I transfer to the 250, then I have to pay for the other bus, but then I have a pass on both buses for the whole day. So the bus system is great. Then there's obviously, if you're living down in the city, everything really is within walking distance. And then the other thing is there's a lot of bicycle hire places. They've got those bikes all around the place. You jump on a bicycle and you can ride. So if you're in a city or certain areas where it's a little denser, cycling is a great way to get around. Although, I guess the rain can make it a little harder. Then I have to say, it's been raining like this since yesterday here in Vancouver, and you see hardly anybody walking around with an umbrella. I guess the people in Vancouver are just used to being a little bit damp sometimes, so, they just roll with it. And then the next thing is obviously Uber. The first time we came here in 2016, there was no Uber, and that was an absolute nightmare. They had the taxis and the taxi app, which seemed to work like Uber, and it was shit. Sorry to say that, but it just didn't work properly. I mean, you order the thing and you stand there, and then the guy someone comes and picks up somebody else next to you, and he drives off, and that's it, cancels you. So now they have Uber here, so you can use Uber. Where we are in the West Van, it takes a little longer for the Uber to get here, and the Uber is not cheap. But I mean, if you're living in the city and you don't have to drive around, grab an Uber every now and again. It's probably going to be a lot cheaper than owning a car and paying for insurance and all of the rest. Then there's another option, which is the train. Now, we haven't used the trains yet, but there are trains. If you are working in the city, a lot of people live out towards Coquitlam and a couple of other places further down, and then they just grab the train coming into the city every day. Simple, easy way of transit. Then there's also the water bus, which we have not taken yet. Actually, what's it called? The water bus. You know what? In this week, we're going to go ride this thing, that thing. That's actually nonsense that we haven't. Which is a way to get away from going across the bridges. So there's from North Vancouver to the city, there's like a ferry that runs across, a water bus. You just jump on it and you can go across. And then, of course, another cool thing out here is the Evo cars. So that's like a rent-a-car. You've got an app on your phone, and you just like see where the closest car is, because they're standing everywhere. They're parked all over the place. So you just go, where's the closest Evo? It shows you. You book it, you walk over there, you get into it, you drive it, you go wherever you want to go, you park it, you get out, and you leave it right there, and that's it. You've rented your Evo for however far you want it to go. And you know, once again, it's not necessarily cheap, but if you don't have to travel that much, it actually is going to work out a little bit better than you know, owning your own vehicle. So let me think, have I covered everything? Bicycles, walking, Evo, train, bus, water bus, Uber, and your own car. Alright folks, so those are the ways to get around Vancouver. Let me know if I missed out something or if I got it wrong. Hey, listen, I'm also still learning, just like the rest of us. Always trying to figure out what's the best way, and if I find any better ways, I will definitely let you know. Alright, have a good one. Cheers.